Just in case you missed it live. Hey, you guys. Welcome. You guys have me cracking up. I can't get through it. Hey, you guys. Welcome to the Preacher After Show here at the Stream.tv. I'm your host, Jocelyn Polite. Thanks for joining us for the congregation tonight for the season finale of Preacher. And we're going to break it down. We're going to talk about this some of my bitch preacher. Some of my bitch. And did I say my name?
Yeah.
But here to break it down with me, to my immediate right, are my co-host.
Hey everybody, I'm Timothy Michael. Follow us on Twitter using the hashtag PreacherAS. Also join our amazing Facebook page, Preacher Fan Group. We're gonna have some shout outs there later. And to my immediate right.
Hello everybody, my name is Kiyra Lynn, and as usual, I am on the chat. So whatever you guys thought about this episode, please tell us, talk to us, let us know what you thought, and perhaps we will give you a shout out.
Absolutely. Tweet us and let us know what you're thinking, because there was a lot tonight. There was a lot going on.
Yes.
This was an explosive episode. I think I said that last week too, but there was a lot of explosions with this show.
No pun intended.
But this was exactly yes. But this one was one, and we started off with Jesse and Tulip, and we got some backstory on Carlos because
I'm sorry. And before we even start,
just kidding.
I just want to point out Miss Tulip's realness right now.
Yes.
I was trying to give you Tulip tonight. I'm trying to give you Tulip. I don't know. She dressed up this episode, so I'm kind of like out here alone. But
I think you look great.
Yes.
Either that or pornographic Minnie Mouse. One of the two. So.
Well, the way we are talking about Preacher, so that wouldn't be too far off.
It sure wouldn't,
Seriously.
especially with this show. Okay, so we had Carlos, and Carlos was sleazy as can be. And I believe that threesome, that little trifecta, it didn't work.
No.
And we saw Tulip and Jesse. We kind of saw how they were when they were like pew pew pew, hit man and hit woman, back then. So, what did you guys think of the trio with Carlos?
I liked it because we finally saw them actually interacting together in, a previous life, and you could see what the love really was there, as opposed to just Tulip talking about it, and romanticizing what they once had. And we found out, that's how she lost the baby.
Yeah.
So, it was really deep, and there was a really intense love there.
You know what I found interesting? The trio of Carlos, Jesse, and Tulip, how Carlos got Jesse of their relationship, and I wonder if that same thing is going to happen with Cassidy, Jesse, and Tulip in the next season.
That could possibly be, only because when they opened with Cassidy, he was talking to the mascot and the Indian, and he was talking about, if I recall correctly, he was talking about what I thought was his first thoughts of when he first saw Tulip.
Yeah.
I
thought so
he
too.
was breaking it down.
Yeah.
So that is definitely a possibility.
Well, and then I know, as further along in the episode, like towards the end when they were hitting the road, which we'll get to, but it was the same thing when they kissed. He looked a particular way. So
that's true.
Carlos did have some feelings towards that, and now. But how did she lose the baby?
I think it was just
did they
stress.
say that?
I think it was
Stress
like
from the
she
whole-
was just stressed out, and I mean, wouldn't you be stressed?
Robin Banks, heck yeah, I'd be stressed.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, yeah.
Well, I think she lost the baby when Carlos took off and didn't Jesse shot that dude.
Yeah, the security guard,
absolutely.
yeah.
Okay, well, Donnie, we know it was so funny this episode because it started with like run Jesse, where like Jesse was on the run, he's on the lam, you know what I mean? And so he's like running through town, which I thought was hilarious. And that was one thing.
And then that old lady gave him up.
She did talk about that so mean. I know, a little Anvil lady gave him up, but this was a funny episode,
Yeah.
and he goes running through the town, and it was interesting because I didn't expect for him to be held up with Donnie at all. I mean, they've had such a relationship, that's been like negative, and Donnie putting the gun in his mouth and then losing his hearing so that he can't be affected and everything. So I'm wondering, like, my question was like, why would he choose them for respite? I thought he used the power on them.
I would have thought so too, but then this relationship with Donnie completely went the complete opposite way that I even saw. But Donnie was like, I saw that Preacher, took some pity on me, so I'm taking pity on them. But yeah, I was not expecting that at all.
I actually really liked this turn of relationship with Donnie and Jesse, because I feel like Donnie and his wife are kind of like a power couple. Like they're pretty strong, just like Jesse and Tulip. Because she's
down for him.
Yeah, she's down for him. Yeah, and she's down for like this. I mean, if somebody came into your house, busted through your window, broke your nose, and you're still looking out for them, like
through all that.
Yeah, I like her.
Donnie's a freak. He was spanking asses, and I mean, and he wasn't just spanking ass.
He's spanking Dorothy's ass.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, but dang, she needed ice.
She liked
that's
it.
true.
She did. She really
like
did.
it.
So, all right. Well, all right. Well, another thing that I noticed was with Jesse, when he kind of, because for so long he's been putting Tulip off, and he just kind of professed his love for her, and he's been more gentle with her, and he was willing to kill the guy for her and everything. And I saw that it lightened her up. Tulip's character has taken a bit of a turn.
Yes.
I feel like she's gotten a little bit. I mean, not only did I notice that she dressed a little different this episode, and she kind of had on her Sunday best and everything, but she lightened up a bit, and she was just a more approachable, I guess you can say, character.
I feel like she lightened up after she felt like Jesse was really there for her. Because before she wanted him to kill Donnie. This whole season, she wanted him to kill Donnie. And then when it comes right to it, you women are just...
I was going to bring that up.
Then she's like, oh, it was just the thought that counts. And I was like, are you kidding me?
Yes.
Like, we spent this whole season of her just wanting him to kill this guy, Carlos.
If you guys were sitting backstage with us, literally, Tim was just sitting there going, you women.
Tim was like, these girls, like, what do you guys actually want? And I'm sitting there the whole time, and I'm going, I totally understand. Like, you showed me that you want me and that you love me and you'll do anything for me. That's all I need.
I can't. But I mean, but to my point, I feel like after that whole thing, that's when she started to lighten up, because that's when she realized that Jesse probably still did love her.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I like this Tulip. I mean, I like the sassy, dangerous Tulip also, but I like the more human, Tulip as well. And where's her uncle? I was like ready for him. I'm used to him being
he's
sleeping on
dead
the couch.
now.
Well, I know.
Oh, well, he is dead. Well, he didn't know. That's the good thing.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
How would you like to be that actor? That
You just get paid to lay on the couch?
Just to be drunk the entire time.
4, 3, 2, 1. That's awesome. Okay, so the town exploded. Anvil, gone. It just completely exploded. And here we go with, like, the fear of summoning spirits, because that's what I felt when they were in the church and he had the angel's hands and the hand, I should say, and he was using the telephone to summons God. It's like when you invite that kind of stuff, things happen. That's all I can say. Things happen. So
Well, it's like using a Ouija board,
You just read my mind.
Right? You don't, because we're always like that too. It's like with a Ouija board, you don't know what you're exactly gonna get. And in this case, they thought they were gonna get God, and they
got Santa Claus.
They get
Oh
God.
my gosh. Okay, I don't know about you guys at home, but all of us, when God showed up, we were like, WTF, what the hell is going on?
No, it did. It took like a major. I said a left. You said a U-turn.
And I mean,
it's
was
like a squiggly line.
WTF, guys.
No, it was. It was very weird. Well, we can skip to God and then come back to the town explodes. But okay, so God comes to explain everything.
Well, first, before we even got to God, I like this whole count. Let's go with what we did like.
Okay.
I liked this whole countdown to God. I liked
Yes.
this buildup of suspense
Yeah.
that the episode was invoking, because we all were like, well, how is he going to get God to even show up? Is he even going to show up? Like, you're going to
And is
call
this
him.
thing even going to work? And this phone is so old. And Dorothy was telling him that the video camera worked on it. And I was like, are you kidding me? This thing looks like it came out of the 60s.
Yeah. But I was like, I liked that buildup of
Yeah.
suspense. I just felt like they let us down, you guys. I feel like it was a little bit of a letdown.
Well, on the good side, I feel like it went into a very humorous place. It went to like a really funny comic relief
Which
type
is
of
Seth
place.
Rogen.
It is.
But I just thought it was a little too comical for the buildup of suspense. Now, some people...
You thought it was too comical to play with God, didn't you?
No, because I'm not even like a religious person. Like,
Okay.
I don't care if you shit on God. It's not my business. More power to you. But it's like, I just felt like, I don't know, I was expecting a little...
Yeah. Well, you didn't expect God to... Well, here's the thing. You didn't expect God to really come with an old phone and a dead angel's hand. I mean, we didn't expect that. So it's kind of like when that came, they had to do something with it that would be somewhat funny and animated and weird.
We weren't expecting God to do FaceTime. That's
Yes,
exactly what it
exactly.
is. Like,
Thank
we
you.
weren't expecting God. We thought maybe, the traditional voice of God, but we weren't exactly expecting him to do FaceTime with the congregation. So I think that threw us off, or at least it threw me off.
Right.
But I like the way that the situation ended.
Yeah.
How Jesse calls him out and basically says that, he didn't believe it, that, when he was questioning whether or not he understood about Genesis. I like the way they landed the plane on that.
I also liked the kind of dialogue that they gave God. Like when that random girl got up and she was like, well, why do bad things happen to good people? And he said, I give you love and kindness, but I also have to give you pain in order to make you who you are. And I kind of liked that answer because it was actually pretty philosophical, in my opinion.
Honestly, I was even going to say that, because that was one of my questions, is did we like the questions that the town, the church, had for God?
Do you know what really touched me?
Are those the type of questions that people would ask?
I think so, because I mean, Odin's question really got to me when he was like, "Is my daughter up there with you?" I think I think anybody who's lost a loved one, I think that's what you would want to know.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, do you exist? Well, you're talking to me, so I guess you exist.
Right.
But now my second question would be like...
And, I want to say, just, building on top of that with Odin, he's been such an ass this entire season. I want to say that we've seen some really soft parts, and that actually kind of got me.
Yeah, you said that you felt bad for him.
I really did feel bad for him losing his family and whatnot. And this entire time, I'm like, that dude's an ass.
Yeah.
But for him to be asking that particular question to God, for someone who doesn't believe that God exists, that just tells you where he really is as a character and as a person.
And you know what? And honestly, I felt a little something for him too, which was really hard because I don't like the way he slaughters animals. But I did feel something for him until he gave his daughter a meat facial.
Oh.
Something's wrong with this man. I mean, clearly I get it. Like he lost his family and whatever. But I mean, I'm like, this man is really, really creepy and he's very weird. And I'm hoping that he did not die in this explosion because his character is interesting and needs to be developed and fleshed out a lot further.
I'll agree with you on that.
Yeah.
I mean, we talk about it. I mean, we'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
But I mean, he plays a big part in the comics. And if his character is dead,
it would be very weird.
Yeah.
It would be very weird. So are those questions? So did your questions for God get answered?
No.
Okay.
It's fine.
Okay. All right.
what I did like was that we found out that it was really, I guess, an angel who is pretending to be God. And then he said God is gone. God is missing.
Right.
What does that mean? How is God missing?
Why is God missing? Where did God go?
He took off. He is disappointed in He's disappointed in humanity.
Are you sure?
And he's taken off. He's like, he's done. I mean, but haven't we heard that like so many times just in casual conversation? What does the world come to? And people that have questioned whether God is still present, and and is it because we've all just kind of like let the world go to shit and like look at the earth, you know what I mean? So
he just quit?
I'm not saying he did. I'm just saying that like those questions have come up in life.
It is summer. For all we know, God went on vacation.
He could have.
And just didn't tell anybody.
He could. He could have, but Tim is like, no, he's.
Oh my God, does not get a vacation.
Everybody needs a vacation. God needs a vacation.
If you had to hold all this shit together, you need a vacation too. Like seriously. But the town exploded. I want to get back to that because that was pretty deep. And the town folk losing hope was another kind of deep topic. That I feel like Preacher really does an interesting job of disguising it with humor and everything, but actually putting in things that are very deep, like summoning God, questions for God, and then and people losing hope. Those are all serious subjects, and so that was the case, and they're all killing each other. And the whole time I was just thinking. I was thinking how they were going to get out of it. I didn't know that the town at that time was going to explode, but I was like, everyone's going at each other. Like, what could come of that? I mean, it was kind of Jonestown-ish to me. It was kind of cult-like.
Yes.
To me in many ways.
I think me and Kira kind of picked on the whole town exploding thing because a few episodes ago they closed out one of the episodes with the pressure light going off, and then the guy who works there shut it off, and then we were like, they never touched on it again, and we were like, well
something's gonna explode.
Yeah. And then on this episode, when that guy had that really weird scene with his wife, and he was like, oh well, let's be intimate, and that whole scene, and I was like, why are they showing this? There's no point of it.
And then they landed the plane.
And then they landed that plane.
Did you guys think that through all of this happening, did you guys feel as though Cassidy was rather calm about everything that was taking place? I mean, is it because he's immortal? I mean, he was very calm through this process.
I mean, he's a 100-year-old vampire. I'm sure he's seen a lot.
Yeah, this ain't nothing to him.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, he was rather calm.
I don't know if he's seen the end of the world, though.
He's a vampire.
Okay.
He's he's seen
That's
tons
true.
of shit. So
That's true. And Root surprised
that
us.
took a turn.
Well, I think another thing that kind of like resonated with me was when Cassidy was talking to him about, do you really want Eugene back?
That's true.
Yikes. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because in so many ways, like, taking care of Eugene and, answering all of his questions, because Eugene has a ton of questions, and making sure that he's okay is a lot of work.
Well,
So
not
I'm
only that,
wondering-
but also living with the burden of what he did. Like, once
Right.
you do something crazy in such a small town, your whole family
Yeah.
is looked at with shame because of what you did and the choice you made. So I thought it was a pretty valid question.
I agree with you.
Yeah, I know, and I think with Sheriff Root, we've seen in previous episodes where he's been kind of we can see that Eugene is kind of a burden, is wearing on him, and I know that's mean.
It is.
No, it is.
Because I really
but
like Eugene.
I do too, but I think that he actually, I think that's with things in life, and I'm going to go there and say it. But a lot of times when people get sick or ill, whether it's mental, physical, or whatever it is, it is seen kind of as a burden, but you love that person and you want to care for that person, but taking care of them is a huge
But
task.
this is
It's taxing.
my viewpoint on that is the reason why Root reacted in the manner that he did and so violently towards Cassidy, because maybe he might not have wanted to hear what Cassidy was saying, but that was actually what he was feeling, and that's how I took it. That he full on unloaded his entire pistol into him after that conversation. So I think that was actually a reflection of how Root was actually feeling as a parent.
The truth hurts.
I know.
And I love how you can torture people in Texas. Didn't we learn that
Oh
tonight?
yeah.
No, you can't do that anywhere else. But here,
Oh, yeah.
you can interrogate and torture you. So yeah, go Texas. Longhorns, do it. Okay, so Jesse, Tulip, and Cassidy hit the road, and I know many of us have been waiting for that. We've been waiting for them to hit the road and go find God or go find whatever it is out there that they need to find. The reason why Jesse has Genesis or whatever it may be. And I know a lot of people that, before we even get to a comic section, a lot of people that read the comics wanted them, were eager for them to hit the road. And so now they're out there. And my question, where do you look for God? If you can't find him in the church, I'm just saying, it's where are they headed? I'm wondering where they're headed.
I guess we'll find out in season 2, won't we?
Yeah, your guess is as good as mine. But
Yeah.
I love how Tulip and Cassidy are just like, all right, let's go.
Like it's nothing.
Like, they're
Okay,
like,
saddle
all
up,
right.
bitches, let's go. We're gonna go,
Bikini clad ladies and
I feel like that's the whole definition of ride or die.
Yeah, it is.
When you're just gonna go find God, it's those are some ride or die friends.
Yeah,
right there.
there's no job, no money, you're just getting in, what is that? Tulip's car, with Illinois plates, and you're headed out to go find God. And I have no idea where they're gonna find. Are you headed to the beach? Are you headed to? There's a lot of ground to cover if you're gonna find God. There's Earth. So wow, you know what I mean?
Can I just bring it back back to the explosion of Anvil really quick? Because I'm really sad if that's, we talked about Kincannon, but I'm really sad if that's the end of Emily. If Emily is gone and
You didn't even like her at first with her khakis.
I know, but she.
You called her Old
grew on
Navy.
Yeah, she was Old Navy to me. But then when she took her pants down for the mayor, I was like, ooh, this girl is my type of girl. And then she served the mayor up. I was all, yeah, I like Emily. And now I'm like, she's gone. I'm so sad.
I feel like there are a lot of little characters that we
Yeah.
might miss. Even Sheriff Root. We didn't really get to see I feel like this explosion ended a lot of characters abruptly, and it's
Right.
Emily and her kids. That's sad. Sheriff Root. Who else?
Donnie, I'll miss Donnie.
Yeah.
Donnie.
Donnie.
was a
Oh
good
yeah, Donnie and his
character, too.
wife. Yeah, they really came through for him at the end, and yeah.
And another thing that was kind of sad too is poor Fiore. I will never say
yeah.
Fiore or
Oh,
whatever.
that was so
Figaro.
sad.
But he was sitting on the side of the road. How is he going to make it back? Is he cast out of heaven? Because whoa, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
How can he make it back there? You know what I mean?
Does
And will
he even
have to
care
find
at this
DeBlanc?
point now because the Blanc's gone?
Probably not. That's
That's really
you're right.
sad.
It is
Sad.
That was really sad.
So he's just out there with a suitcase, and I'm like, I'm surprised he didn't try to hitch on with the cowboy and be like, can I tag along? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But we got some cowboy too, which I'm always happy about, but I was not expecting a big old humongous hole through Seraphim.
Yeah.
No.
And is that the ultimate kill for them? Because remember, we were talking before about being dismembered, or whatever. She's just going to...
She died. So if she
Yeah,
died,
okay.
that just technically means that she's going to come back, right?
Yeah, but what if she gets killed by somebody from hell?
I guess
That may
we'll
be
find out.
different, yeah.
Because
Yeah.
DeBlanc didn't come back, but is it because he was killed in hell?
You know what I would have liked to see, and I think would have answered a lot of those questions, was how did Cowboy get to Anvil from hell? Like, that's a big missing
He took
piece.
the
He
bus.
took the bus. He took
He
the train.
took the Greyhound from hell.
The distant vistas.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he doesn't have a horse anymore, so he certainly didn't ride a horse. But I was just wondering, like, how he actually got there. I mean, you know, it was like that was just kind of a missing piece to me, because I would have liked to see him show up, because he has the same clothes on.
Yeah.
He looks the same, and he's in present day.
What, he
So-
didn't make it out to Zara?
Oh.
No, he did not. No H&M for him. And we got a little cameo of Eugene, poor Eugene, who we all like. You know, we love Eugene. And again, to one of our members in the group, on the chat that made the whole comment about John Wayne and Eugene.
Yes,
And
we should talk
alluded
about
to
that
it last week.
We should talk about that in the comments.
No, we definitely will. But the way that he comes up for him, I'm kind of liking that, and it also shows that Eugene's going to be around a lot more because of that.
Because I think Timothy brought this up a few episodes ago, that he's a manifestation of Jesse's guilt in a way.
I was gonna say, I feel like Eugene keep being reincarnated over and over again in his mind is just their way of keeping Jesse in check.
Right, exactly. And one other thing before we go to break, I just have to say, the ones that were handling the whole, you know, that control panel, you know, in there about everything, it's not lost on me that they were getting freaky deaky in the control panel room.
You know what? Can we talk about a little bit on how this town went absolutely berserk for a second? Like the little girls killed the bus driver.
Yes.
The mascot, who we find out in this episode was having I guess a gay relationship with the other mascot.
The
Indian and the prairie dog went on a suicide pact and hung themselves from the famous tree. Like. This town went crazy.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So are we surprised that it blew up?
No, because I think this town, like we've said and like other people have said, it's hell. I mean, it's hell. This town is hell. It blows up, and some other town's going to come back with a different name, you know, because it's already been Ratwater, and it's Anvil, and it's going to come back with another name, and all kinds of messed up stuff are going to continue to happen.
So Flint.
Ha!
Did you like that?
Yes, I did like that. Okay, you guys, wow. On that note, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit of comics. We're going to give a couple of shout-outs, and, I don't know, chit-chat a little bit more.
Yeah.
So stick around. We'll be right back.
We'll be back.
Boom.
Boom.
Bam!
In case you missed it live.
In case you missed it live. In case you missed it live.
Oh my God.
High five.
They did what to me?
We had a crazy vampire threesome.
And you can't unsee that. That's burned into my brain now.
I was like,
You know why we saying yes. You know why we saying yes.
look at me, I'm dancing.
He was like, yeah, I'll tell you whatever you want.
He is like something.
And we're like, ooh, inseparable.
These hoes ain't look.
You just went to a totally different direction on that one.
I love it. That's genius.
We're funny.
Billionaire goes broke, it means he's got like $4 million.
There's got to be a code on that.
This might actually be a thing.
Somebody better take some pictures of this.
What did I do?
But is there? Are we there yet? Can we talk about this?
We've been waiting all night. I don't know.
I don't like to break nails.
You can't count anything out.
It's been another awesome night at the Stream.tv,
So
guys.
awesome.
Thank you for joining us, you guys.
Hey, you guys, remember to follow all your favorite after shows right here at the Stream.tv. Remember to hit subscribe and click like, and fall is coming, hint, hint. So all your favorite goodies and wonderful after shows are going to be right here at the Stream.tv. We're going to go to some shout outs. So Tim, hook us up.
You know what? I just want to do a really quick shout out to our amazing Facebook group, Preacher Fan Group, because we've got some amazing fans in there. And just because this is the finale doesn't mean that we're gonna like stop talking to you guys. We still want to develop the conversation because there's gonna be a season 2, so we want to keep that fire going. One of our fans, Chris Thompson, made a clay sculpture of Jesse and Cassidy. And he's so talented, and I just wanted to give him a really quick shout out because he's been working on it all season, and he's finally finished them, and they look amazing.
They do.
Great job, Chris. Also, Jorge E. Border and Samantha Pines really enjoyed this episode, and they're in our Facebook fan group also. So you know what? Just keep the conversation going, you guys, and thank you for being there with us, being there for us throughout this entire season because we've really had a great time.
Absolutely.
Yay! And then we have, let's see, we've got Louisa Ta, October Grace, who's also AKA Writer Girl 47, Andrew Freud. They're all in the chat. They're joining us. Feel free to comment, say hello. And then again, our viewers are amazing. The comment section on last week's episode was, there was just so many comments, but we'll have to say to Grimjaw, hi Grimjaw, Christina Jones, Tansui, Booty2K, good to see you. We like to see you for Quad, Russ T, let's see, Rax Lakani, and the Lucille. Thank you so much for joining us. Man, Booty2K came back and said to us, I know it's a comic session and it's not an essay section, thank you very much, but please, he really enjoyed it. He wanted to try to, what is he saying? He wanted us to check out the Preacher Comic Con 2006 panel. They said they had a ton of things that they talked about, so we'll definitely check that out. And hopefully, we'll keep the comment section going, even though this is the season finale. So we'll answer all the questions and comments for you guys.
Absolutely. We can linger on this episode for a while and talk to you guys all about it. And then also remember that you can follow us over on Twitter at Preacher Fan Show. And also I want to give a big shout out as well to Preacher. Okay, let me see. Preacher _on_ AMC, who always shouts us out all the time, includes us in all of the pictures and just information and includes us along with other podcasts and everything. So a big thank you and a big shout out to you. So, all right, we're going to talk about the comic book section. We're just going to give that. So for those of you that don't want any spoilers and don't want to hear anything about the comic books, we want to thank you for joining us this season. We've had an amazing season with you guys. Thank you so much, and we'll be back next season, and let's talk all throughout the season. And you guys have a wonderful rest of the summer, and I'm assuming that we'll actually see you next year.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, so bye, you guys. All right, boo-doo-doo. All right, so, all right, going into the comic book conversation. Now, this episode, I know, now it gets real, right? It gets real.
It really is.
It gets real. This episode must have driven comic book people crazy.
Because it drove us crazy.
It drove us insane.
Yeah, because it was so incredibly fragmented, and even though I don't really look for them to follow the comics all the way, there were just some things where I was just like, huh? I just felt like,
Well, here's my thing. I understand, and we as after show people have to give the show creators some leeway. We understand that. But there is so much juice and content in the comics that they could have used in this finale that I just think that they punked out on.
Right.
I mean, the explosion and Odin's character and Sheriff Root's character, I'm like, you have completely disregarded all of that character development in the comics.
Right, exactly. And the explosion, you brought that up. The explosion was totally different. It was a different kind of explosion in the comic book than it was, on the show. And also, again, the cowboy, and how he made it there. I thought the story was very interesting of how he made it, to Anvil from hell. So there was a lot of little missing pieces for me that I felt like, I wasn't disappointed because I did like this episode and but I think it was more like, what about? I just felt like, what about?
Yeah.
Like, what happened? You know what I mean? So, we kind of picked up, but I did like that it ended with the three of them in the coffee shop where, the comic started.
Yep.
So
Yes.
I did like that, a whole lot. So yeah. What are your predictions for season 2?
Okay, so I have my obviously my comic book predictions.
Okay.
My show predictions, because I feel like the show is going on a totally separate route. I feel like I have no idea.
Tell us
know,
what you
what's
really
gonna happen?
feel.
I have no idea.
Well, I think it'll bring us back to what we talked about last week. Jesse's backstory with his grandmother.
Yes.
And
thank you.
Everything. But what are they going to do there?
Well,
it's like,
here's my thing. I feel like they're gonna be looking for God, and they're gonna run into TC and Jody, at some point,
Right.
and then they're gonna bring them back to the grandmothers.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think they're even going to bring up Jesse's mom at all?
But
I
they don't
mean,
have to.
Well, the grandmother is Jesse's mom's mom,
Right.
So they have to at some point.
I don't think they have to linger on her. I think that,
No.
I think to bring her up as though she was obviously, present and everything like that, but she really didn't play a big part early on, you know what I mean, with that. I mean, she took off, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
She just, she kind of was like, she knew her mom was evil. Her mom was doing all kind of terrible things. And so I don't know. I would like to see something happen similar to what happened in the comic books between Jesse and Tulip, and again, that goes back to Grandma's house, but what happened with Tulip and maybe some kind of supernatural power that brought her back, to life.
I was gonna say, is Tulip gonna die next season?
Yeah,
'Cause that'd be
exactly.
cool.
It would be really interesting to see what happens with that. And then also Cassidy's backstory and the stuff that he's been through since 1940 something.
Right.
Because he has a lot of stuff that he did in Louisiana. He has a lot of stuff that he did that involves, a psychopathic man that stabbed Tulip in the hand in the car. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that can be played out. So I think that season 2 is going to be action-packed, and I think that this episode is setting that up completely for how completely schizophrenic it's going to be.
My prediction is they will expand on the Jesse, Cassidy, Tulip love triangle.
Yeah.
I think that'll definitely
good
get
one.
fleshed out. That's
That is
what
a
I
good
think.
one. That is a good one. All right, well, there you have it. Let us know what some of your predictions are. We would love to hear it. We want to hear what you guys think will happen in season 2. We've got a long time to talk about it and to figure it all out. But until then, we want to thank you guys so much for joining us this season. I know you probably just heard me say that, but I want to specifically say to you again, thank you for joining us this season here on the Stream.tv. We have really enjoyed just hamming it up and talking with you guys here on the Preacher After Show, and we hope to return next season and
Or
talk it
Preacher.
up some more.
But don't
for
forget,
Preacher.
if you guys still like us,
Yeah.
guess what's coming back? Fear the Walking Dead.
Yeah, we'll be back August 21st with Fear the Walking Dead, another AMC show. So if you want to catch us there, that's where we will be.
Yes. Because we know you like us, right?
You love us.
Right? Heart.
All right, you guys, thank you so much again, and have a wonderful rest of the summer and fall and everything else. And we will see you next time on Preacher.
Bye,
Let
guys.
the church say,
Amen. Bye, guys.
Food court. Food